electric cars are cheaper right now than they have ever been in the United States. And I'm not talking about stripped down, barely functional economy cars. I'm talking about real, modern, feature-packed electric vehicles with 300 plus miles of range, sitting at prices that would have seemed impossible just 2 years ago. Today, we are counting down the top 10 cheapest new EVs you can buy right now in the US market. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Nick's Car Review. I'm Nick. Real quick before we start, the federal $7,500 EV tax credit is gone as of now. So every price you hear today is the actual sticker price, no credits assumed. Some states still have their own programs, so check your local incentives as a bonus. Also worth knowing, every car on this list now uses the NACS charging port, meaning they all plug directly into Tesla's supercharger network. That is a massive win for anyone worried about finding a charger on the road. All right, let's count it down. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have the Hyundai Kona Electric. And look, the Kona is a solid little SUV. It is compact, it is easy to drive, it has a clean, modern interior with Hyundai's dual screen setup, wireless Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, all standard from the base trim. For someone who lives in the city, does shorter daily drives, and just wants a no-fuss electric SUV with a recognizable brand behind it, the Kona checks a lot of boxes. For 2026, the Kona Electric is down to one trim level, and that trim delivers around 200 miles of range. And honestly, that is where things get a little tricky. 200 miles is on the lower end by today's standards. It is not going to be your road trip car. If your daily commute is manageable and you charge at home overnight, 200 miles works perfectly fine. But if you are regularly doing longer drives or you do not have home charging set up, this one might leave you feeling a little anxious at the gauge. The entry-level Kona Electric starts at approximately $32,795. The reason it lands at number 10 on this list is purely that range limitation holding it back compared to everything else we are about to cover. The value is real, the price is competitive, but 200 miles in 2026, when most of its rivals are pushing 300 plus, that gap is hard to ignore. Coming in at number 9 is the Kia Niro EV. The Niro is one of those cars that flies completely under the radar and honestly deserves way more attention than it gets. It is a compact, crossover, practical, comfortable, easy to live with day to day. The Niro EV offers around 250 miles of range, though Kia claims a maximum charging rate of just 85 kilowatts and a 10 to 80% charge time of around 43 minutes. That charging speed is not class-leading by any stretch. If you are used to hearing about cars that charge from 10 to 80 in under 30 minutes, 43 minutes is going to feel slow. But again, if you charge at home most of the time, that public charging speed becomes much less of a daily concern. What the Niro does well is livability. The cabin is well laid out, the ride is comfortable, and Kia's build quality has been very strong. It sits one step above the Kona on this list because of the extra 50 miles of range and a slightly more refined overall package. All right, number 8, and this one is a really important one because the Chevy Equinox EV is genuinely one of the best value stories in the entire EV market right now. This is not just a cheap car that happens to be electric. This is a legitimately well-rounded SUV that competes with vehicles costing significantly more money. The Equinox EV packs a single front motor producing 220 horsepower, powered by an 85 kilowatt-hour battery pack that delivers a base range of 319 miles. You can fully recharge it in about 40 minutes using a DC fast charger. 319 miles of range at $35,000. Let that sink in for a second. That is genuinely class-leading range for the price point. And it puts the Equinox EV in a conversation with cars that cost $10,000 more. Inside, the Equinox EV punches well above its price bracket in build quality and material choices. A 17.7-inch touchscreen comes standard, along with a wealth of driver assistance features. Now, one thing worth flagging, the Equinox EV does not come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is a head scratcher at this price. It runs Google built-in instead, which works well enough, but if CarPlay is a must-have for you, that is something to be aware of before you commit. Overall though, The Equinox EV at $35,000 with over 300 miles of range is one of the most compelling buys on this entire list. Number 7 is the one that a lot of you have probably been waiting for, Tesla. And yes, Tesla makes the list because the base Model 3 rear-wheel drive is now sitting at a price point that puts it right in the thick of this conversation. Prices for the Model 3 start at $36,990. And even this entry-level specification offers an EPA range of 321 miles, along with a 0 to 60 time of 5.8 seconds. For a base model, those are seriously impressive numbers. And then of course, you add the Tesla factor on top, the supercharger network, the over-the-air software updates, the autopilot capability that comes standard, and the overall refinement of a car that Tesla has been continuously improving for years now. The new base Model 3 rear-wheel drive loses some features compared to higher trims, things like ambient lighting, a rear passenger touchscreen, and full vegan leather seats. But it also cuts the Model 3's entry price by $5,500. So you are making some small sacrifices on the luxury side to hit that lower price, but the core driving experience, the range, and the technology are all still very much there. The reason it sits at number 7 rather than higher on the list is purely the price. $37,000 is still a stretch compared to what is coming up. But for what you get, it remains one of the sharpest value propositions in the segment. Number 6 is a car that I genuinely have a lot of respect for. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 has been one of the most talked about EVs on the market for the past few years. And the 2026 model year brought something very interesting, a significant price cut that makes it more accessible than it has ever been. The Ioniq 5 is widely considered the best overall EV in America. That is not a Tesla. The 2026 model year brought an updated interior, improved tech, more range, and a Tesla-style NACS plug. Hyundai slashed pricing across the board for 2026, making the Ioniq 5 up to $9,800 cheaper than before, nearly $10,000 cheaper. That is not a small adjustment. That is Hyundai making a very aggressive statement about where they want to compete in this market. The SE rear-wheel drive trim starting at $37,500 delivers a range of up to 318 miles. So you are getting Tesla Model 3 levels of range, a spacious and genuinely well-designed interior, ultra-fast charging capability, and the distinctive retro futuristic styling that has made the Ioniq 5 one of the most recognizable EVs on the road, all for $37,500. The Ioniq 5 at this price is a serious car. Number 5 is one that has been quietly sitting in the background of the EV conversation for a few years now, and honestly, it deserves a lot more credit than it gets. The Ford Mustang Mach-E. Yes, it has been around since 2020. Yes, people sometimes forget about it. But here's the thing, Ford has been refining this car the entire time it has been on sale, and after a recent price cut, the Select trim now comes in under $40,000 before any incentives. The Mach-E has quietly become one of America's best-selling non-Tesla EVs, and for good reason. It is a great-looking EV with competitive specs and a big screen inside. The exterior still turns heads. The interior is spacious. The rear seat is genuinely comfortable for adults, and the cargo area is practical enough for real everyday family use. This is not a car that asks you to compromise on the things that matter in daily life. Range on the base. Select trim sits around 250 miles, which is respectable. Step up to the extended range version, and you are pushing closer to 270 miles. The charging experience has also improved significantly since the early days. Ford has worked out most of the software issues that affected the first model years, and the overall ownership experience is much smoother now than it was when this car first launched. If you want a recognizable, good-looking electric SUV with the Mustang badge and a price that no longer requires a deep breath before signing the Mach-E at this price point is worth a very serious look. Number 4 might genuinely surprise some of you, the Subaru Solterra. And look, I know Subaru is not the first brand that comes to mind when you think about cutting-edge electric vehicles. But hear me out on this one, because the 2026 Solterra is a completely different story compared to what it was just a year ago. The Solterra received a major update for the 2026 model year, while its price barely budged. Range in the base model was boosted to 288 miles, up from 227 miles previously, a roughly 25% improvement. That is a massive jump in range for the same money. On top of that, the peak charging rate went from 100 kilowatts up to 150 kilowatts. So it charges noticeably faster than before as well. What the Solterra brings to the table that most of its competitors cannot match is the full Subaru experience standard all-wheel drive, confident handling in rain and snow, and that rugged, dependable character that Subaru buyers have always loved. It is also a pleasant car to drive, a nice size, and has a charming interior with a distinctive digital gauge cluster pushed back toward the windshield. For anyone living somewhere with real winters, or anyone who just wants that extra confidence on slippery roads, the Solterra makes a compelling argument. It is not the flashiest car on this list, but it is one of the most practical and most improved, and at just under $40,000, it is genuinely worth your attention. Okay, we are into the top 3 now, and number 3 is a big one. The Chevrolet Bolt is back. And if you followed the EV market a few years ago, you might remember that the original Bolt was discontinued back in 2023. Well, Chevy brought it back for 2026, and they came back swinging. The new Bolt launches with a starting price of $29,990 for the LT with Comfort package. Highlights on the new Bolt include sleeker interior and exterior styling, a range of 255 miles, a Tesla-style NACS charging port, a peak charging speed of 150 kilowatts, a single motor making 210 horsepower, and an 11.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system. And here's the part that makes this even more interesting. Chevrolet will later release a more affordable base specification with prices starting at $28,995, which would make it the most affordable brand new EV in the entire US market when it arrives. The new Bolt also uses LFP batteries, that stands for lithium iron phosphate, which are known for being more stable, longer lasting, and easier to maintain over time compared to older battery chemistry. You can charge them to 100% every single day without worrying about degrading the battery, which is a genuinely practical advantage for everyday ownership. 255 miles of range, fast charging, a fresh modern design, and a starting price under $30,000. The Bolt is back, and it means serious business. All right, we are down to the final 2, and number 2 is a name that has been in the electric vehicle game longer than almost anyone else, the Nissan Leaf. And before you tune out thinking this is the same old Leaf you have seen for years, stop right there. Because the 2026 Leaf is a completely different animal from what came before it. The 3rd generation Nissan Leaf is new for 2026 and remains one of the most affordable ways into a new electric vehicle in US. The S Plus trim starts at $29,990, and that low price comes with no compromise on battery range, with a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack delivering an EPA estimated range of 303 miles. 300 miles of range for under $30,000. That is the headline right there, and it is a genuinely remarkable number. But the upgrades go beyond just the range. The new Leaf has transformed from a hatchback into a compact crossover body style, which aligns much better with what mainstream American buyers actually want. Standard equipment includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, remote climate control, a 28-inch driver display, and a front electric motor producing 214 horsepower. This is not your older brother's Leaf. This is a completely reimagined vehicle that just happens to carry the same name. It looks modern, it drives confidently, it has the features people actually use every day, and it plugs directly into the Tesla supercharger network through its native NACS port. Nissan has also floated an even cheaper Leaf S trim with a smaller battery and lower power output, potentially priced just above $25,000, which, if it arrives as expected, would push the value proposition of this car into truly uncharted territory for new EVs. The 2026 Leaf is the real deal, and it earns its spot right at the top of this list. Now wait, before you scroll back up and check if you missed something, let me explain why the Ioniq 5 takes the #1 spot on this list. Because this is not just about the sticker price. This is about the total deal available to buyers right now, today, in April 2026. And right now, the Ioniq 5 deal is frankly hard to beat. Hyundai is currently offering up to $10,000 in discounts on all 2026 Ioniq 5 models. For buyers who choose to finance, the deal gets even better. Hyundai is offering 0% APR financing for up to 72 months, plus an additional $5,000 off, 0% financing for 6 years, on top of $10,000 in cash discounts. That is an extraordinary offer. Hyundai even has the 2026 Ioniq 5 SE standard range listed for lease for as low as $259 per month, with $3,999 due at signing. Now, the SE standard range base trim does come with 245 miles of range, which is the one trade-off at the entry-level price. But here is the thing. You can step up to the SE rear-wheel drive extended range trim starting at $37,500 and get up to 318 miles of range for just $10 more per month. On the lease at $269. $10 a month more for over 70 additional miles of range. That math is almost unfair. Add in the fact that the Ioniq 5 is widely considered one of the best overall EVs on the market. Incredible build quality, ultra-fast charging, spacious interior, and technology that genuinely rivals Tesla. And you have a car that earns the top spot, not just because of price alone, but because of the complete package it delivers right now at this moment in time. And that is your top 10 cheapest new EVs you can buy right now in the US market. From the reimagined Nissan Leaf to the deal of the moment on the Ioniq 5, there has genuinely never been a better time to go electric without completely emptying your wallet. The options are real, the prices are real, and the range numbers across this entire list would have blown people's minds just a few years ago. If any of these cars caught your attention today, do yourself a favor, go check your local state incentives on top of everything we talked about. Because in some states, you could be looking at additional savings that make these numbers even better. And if you want me to do a deeper dive on any one of these cars individually, drop it in the comments and I will get on it. I'm Nick, this has been Nick's Car Review, and I will see you in the next one.